Hello everybody. Right, I'm just getting my links sent out and then I will be right with you in my normal context. I'm just trying to remember what group we posted now. And I think Tanzo as well. We'll give Tanzo a nudge. Haven't poked that bear in a while. There we go. Oh wait, actually D-Dot. I'm going to say hello to D-Dot. There we go. Sorted. Okay. We go back to my stream chat. Charger on. All good in the hood. Right, so the awkward few minutes at the start. Pretty much every stream's all out of the way now. So we can now look forward to the racing. So we've got qualifying, which you've timed up really nicely. So you've got qualifying coming up in a moment. This will determine the grid for the first of two races that we've got for you tonight. The first race is 15 laps. And the second race is going to be 22 laps. The second race, the normal feature format race in which you have your tyre regulations. The sprint race, you don't really have those regulations. In the nicest possible way, the sprint race is a bit of a free-for-all, so you've not got to run specific tyres or anything like that. There's no success ballast applicable in the first race. It's your probably best chance to pick up points if you're one of the faster drivers, because this one relies on qualifying. Evening Ghost Rider. And then the second race is the reverse grid one. Really long pit lane here at Sao Paulo, Brazil. Of course, remodelled. This pit exit did used to pop out on the left of turn 1, as you can imagine. I think it was part of the F1, what do you call it, the F1 overhaul that they did. They spent about 20 odd million on the circuit. The main complaints were the bumpiness of the circuit, but they spent quite a lot of money on remodelling and redesigning. It's gone through a few iterations over the years. The format we're in now is what we all know and love. Typically plays host to the Formula 1 Brazilian Grand Prix. Officially now called Autodromo Carlos Pache, named after, of course, the famous Brazilian racing driver. So we're looking at about 2.7 miles per lap. 15 turns overall. Has some absolutely beautiful corner names, which when you translate some of them into English don't make that much sense, but we could touch on that during our lap guide, I'm sure. The traditional name of the circuit, so before it got renamed to Autodromo Carlos Pache, was obviously Interlagos. Those that are familiar with Portuguese will know that literally translates as between lakes. It is situated between two artificial lakes created to provide water and electricity to the neighbouring region. Interlagos itself, we've got a bit of an elevation change here at Interlagos, again something that we'll talk about in the track guides. It plays a part in how these guys will have had to set the cars up. It's a 43 metre difference between the highest and the lowest point, but it's how it gets there and the way it goes up and down is what really separates this one apart. If you look at tracks like Paul Ricard, that pretty much has a 2 metre elevation change, and suddenly you've got 43 metres. To contextualise that, 43 metres, about the same height as the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. That's what the guys are dealing with tonight. Back on your normal account, I see it. I can't remember what your other account was. Did I miss something? I feel I may have missed something, Joe. Right, so we'll jump on board with our driver. Let's jump on board with Phil G for a lap of Interlagos. So down the Retro Posta. Sorry, no, down. Okay, so down towards San Arest, then turn 1 and turn 2 come at you very quickly. Optimising your line through here is critical for a good lap. Track limits allow you to run 2 or 4 wheels on the curb, so you're absolutely okay with that. Phil G, nice and tidy. Coming through Curva de Sol, then flat out through here, down the Retro Posta, down into Decided de Lago. This is one of the main places you'll see drivers make mistakes. It's also a good overtaking opportunity. One of the ways drivers can make mistakes, as Phil very nearly did though, he's just running a little bit too wide on the exit of turn 4 as you run into turn 5, and just sacrificing a few tenths of your lap pace. Through Ferradura, again just a balance of the fall through there, just to make sure your line's right going into turn 8. Through Pinarino, this is where the car just wants to shake away from you. You can get on the throttle a lot earlier than you think there because it's banked inwards. Really careful through here. This is where Hamilton famously bonked Albon off in the F1 not too long ago. And then down towards Junção. Junção is critical to a good lap, so you're braking, you can hammer the curb on the inside and the left hand side and get on the power really early. Run all the curb you want there on the right hand side. Turns 13 and 14 and 15 all flat out in pretty much every modern day car. And that is a lap of Autodromo Carlos Pache. So we're in the 130s. That's a good time. We're a good 20 seconds off the race lap record here, as set by Valtteri Bottas. But the GTE record, which is the only one I could find which was remotely sort of familiar, because of course this circuit doesn't necessarily host GT3 races in real life. We're not far away from breaking the race lap record in the GTEs, which is a similar class to the GT3s, as a 130.1 set by Patrick Pilet in a Porsche 911 RSR. Of course, those cars not eligible to enter in this because they are a GT car, not a GT3 car. Anyone in the comments want to explain the difference between the two? Go nuts. As far as I'm aware, it's a little bit of aero and other, what do you call it? Other trickery to go in. Right then, so first hot laps set. Dablo with a 130.5 is the first time on the board so far. Then you got Duco, who's actually just pipped in there with a 140.4 for your provisional pole time. I was going to come to this man during qualifying and just say he needs to turn his pace back around. The last 2 rounds for Duco have been, let's just say, not to par with what we've come to expect from him. Whether there's a little bit of sandbagging going in there, as he's already 2 tenths up on his pole time. Looks potentially like this might be a sub 130 lap time from the Mercedes driver. Yeah, so we had the Suzuka race last week, which he just seemed to struggle the entire way through the pace, and then the race before where his team essentially didn't set the car up correctly. We did have a conversation with them after the race. I spoke to the team and they'd said that they'd just neglected to really put the time into finding a good setup for the wet conditions, and of course every other team had done just that. Phil G in the NSX, a car that should be suitable, quite suited to this circuit. Quite nice and nimble, but it's also quite a hard car to get the best out of. You really do know how to drive this thing. Rob Scott in the Chevrolet out there as well in P4 at the minute. Britsberger P5. Britsberger, another driver that's in absolute superb form at the moment. The Aston Martin driver, absolutely flying at the moment. Is Britsberger had those good results there at Red Bull Ring, and of course not a bad time out in Suzuka either. Sonic Racer, who is facing a penalty following running illegal tyre setups from Suzuka. So yeah, another oversight there from the Jaguar team. They inadvertently put the wrong tyres on in his second pit stop, I think it was, and that cost him quite a substantial penalty. We've got D.90, not had the season he would have desired to have had. Popped into his stream a little bit earlier on today, and he basically did tell me that he was struggling this season, but he's sticking with it. Hoping for better things for him next season. He pits for a fresh set of boots. Lucky Bucky, a great drive from him so far in the first 8 rounds this season. He's had some very good results. really seem to have dragging the best out of that Mercedes so far. Sean, not really been enjoying life in the McLaren. Despite a promising start at the Nürburgring, it's sort of tailed off from there. Then we've got Gwyn in the Jag, currently in P12, and Roving Island P13. I've seen Slow Seamus in the room as well. Yeah, he's there, he's P8. So Diablo then's gone into the 30.3s, so he's knocked Duco off the top of the tree. Duco didn't improve that last time round. In fact, he must have lost a bucket load of time somewhere as he comes into the pits. He's just getting rid of as much fuel as he possibly can out of that car. This is again something that's critical in these qualifying sessions. These cars optimised for the peak performance that they're able to do, and the more fuel they can get rid of in the qualifying session, the faster they'll be towards the end of it. Evening P-Gib, James and Associates. Oh right, fair enough. Oh yeah, I remember now. Thanks for following the Big Willie Show. You know, mate, you know. Yeah, so what was I saying? Completely lost. Oh yeah, there's Slow Seamus, look, in his Audi. Right, so moving towards the business end of the season now, we have got some tables for you as well. Right, so I'll just quickly bring those up. I can't bring them up on screen unfortunately because I'm not posh like Dark Smoker. I don't have on-screen abilities. So while we're just keeping an eye on Duco's outlet, well, we can tell you that the man you're watching on screen at the minute does have an 11-point gap at the top of the table, currently 210 points. The guy in P2 is this man, Mr. Rob Scott, who drives this in fine form at the minute. Has to just go second with 30.345, then 200, so a second behind Duco, behind Diablo's time. He sits on 199 points in the Chevrolet. Very strong performances from him lately. Then we've got Diablo, again another driver that's had some really strong performances, kind of flew under the radar a little bit as Diablo, but he's always delivering. 180 points for Diablo, just 1 point ahead of Britsberger in P4. So Britsberger today, if he outscores Diablo, could move into the top 3. And with the form that he is in, certainly won't put that past him. P5 in the championship then is Mr. Cutler, the tyre whisperer. He is an unknown quantity for this one time round because, and again I'll go into the characteristics of this circuit, but tyre management in both races is going to be absolutely crucial. Can you fire the mediums up enough to get pace out of them? Can you maintain the softs enough to not kill them essentially? MRC Buddy, I don't believe is in tonight. He's P7 in the championship. P8 in the championship is Sean. In the McLaren, then we've got Lucky Bucky P9, but he's just picking up more and more points as the championship goes on, really, just with good performances. Sonic Racer P10. What would have been for Sonic Racer last week had he not picked up all those penalties? There he is in the Jag. And then we just go back to the bottom load. Here's Waldy. Who are you? Because you're not in my championship. And we've got D Dot in P11. 84 points, 4 points ahead of Roving Island in the Honda, 80 points for him. Slow Seamus, 77 points for him in 13th, and then you got Gwyn in P14, 70 points, and then Quinn on 53 points, who I haven't seen in the room. Right, so let's just jump back up to the top then, just see what everyone's doing. So Diablo does still hold that top spot, just about. He's going out for another flyer though. This is him on his flyer. Rob's got an outlap, so he should get into another one. And then Duco looks to have just been on a hot lap. He might be trying for another one. So the top three, still battling out for those top three positions. Duco is going faster as well, so he is improving his time. D-Dot was going a faster time as well, 31.6 for D-Dot, but he's going to pit and get fresh tyres. He's going to have to be quick about it though, because it's we're we're very close to being at the end of the qualifying session now. We've got about another 2 minutes remaining, and providing the drivers get across the line in time to start their last flying lap before the 15 minutes elapses, they should be absolutely fine. So Diablo, the next time doesn't improve, 30.5 for Diablo. He's got one more go at it. This lap round, this one has to be the one he delivers on. Duca then just about to hit Juncal right now. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Rob Scott though. Oh wait, no, it's because Diablo's jumped out. I suddenly saw Rob Scott jump to the top of the leaderboard and my heart jumped out of my mouth. So could Duco improve? I don't think he's going to this time. No, he doesn't. He loses quite a lot of time. 30.4 is still his best time. He will have one more roll of the dice, but fair to say he's took the best out of those softs. Phil G, P3, has set his best lap time on his second lap. He's now on his 9th, albeit not all of them flyers, but he's at his lightest now, and Phil tends to be a late bloomer as far as qualifying is concerned. It does tend to be missed a hot lap as well, as he goes purple then as we come into Juncal, but I dare say that final corner looked really slow. I don't know if that's because your speed out of Juncal is critical to a good lap. Like if you make a mistake there, you carry that mistake the entire way up the main straight. 30.5 to beat. He is gonna actually go. It says purple on my screen, but I don't believe it because it's a 30.6. I'm sure it was. I want to say he lost a bucket load of time. He did, yeah, he did. He lost a lot of time in sector 3 last time out, but he's got across the line in time to start another one. That's it, qualifying is over. So Diablo's not going to get another one in. Rob Scott might. I don't know if he got across the line. I think he did. Britzberger's on another fly now. Britzberger's actually put himself in P3 in the Aston Martin. 30.3, so just 300ths of a second separate the top 3 cars, and they are represented by 3 different manufacturers as well. We've got Ford there, we've got Chevrolet there, and we've got Aston Martin. We then have a Mercedes in P4 and a Honda in P5. So the top 5 then, ladies and gentlemen, all completely different manufacturers, just showing that the BOP is working quite well then. So 200ths of a second separating 5 completely different cars, driven by completely different drivers. So let's have a quick look at the timing screen. Anyone improving? Slow Seamus is improving. Phil G is improving as well. Slow Seamus now just coming around 10:15 now. 31.2 for Seamus to beat. He goes to P6 then, chucks a ton of time off there. Britzberger on there, but yeah, so Britzberger's the only one now that can potentially interrupt the pole train, as we see Phil G actually go pole. Yeah, 30.3 for Phil G in the end. Missed a hot lap, missed a Saturday afternoon. Yeah, like I say, I think his last lap just looked a little bit scruffy. Can Rob Scott do anything about it? He's going to try his best, doesn't improve though in the end. Cutler's just coming around the final corner now. I think Cutler is the only one left to set a time, as Sean actually improves. 31.3 puts him P8. D-Dot keeps his time. Lucky Bucky Gwyn. We've got a couple of cars out just changing tyres. Cutler then is going to settle the time, and it's not going to be an improved one. So that's it then. There are no more cars left setting laps. I think everyone that's going around is just messing about. So I'm going to take this opportunity to drink my tea. Have we got every car in here that we need? Oh yeah, Britzberger and Sean are coming out now. Right, so we've got 15 laps. Now, most cars should be able to do that on fuel. Some will probably have to fuel save. In fact, most will probably have to fuel save. And then it's all about time management. So don't be surprised if we see some runners on this in the sprint race. Don't be surprised if we see some runners start on the mediums, because you don't really want to be pitting here. A pit stop will cost them too much time. If they don't feel like they can keep the softs alive, then it's probably worth them going on the mediums and just making sure that they can last. Yeah, when I saw it was 15 laps. Yeah, that's gonna not cause issues, but it'll be a deciding factor. Tyres will be a deciding factor in race 1. Right then, so there's your starting grid confirmed for race 1. This is 15 laps. Track temperature, not necessarily very hot. Getting a sound bug there from the Audi. Slight uphill start here as the lights go out. Everyone seems to get away well. A little bit of a wheel spin there from the MR cars, which just seemed to bog down a little bit and then try and put the power down all in one. Let me just flick through the field. The McLaren there with Sean trying to make moves up the inside of the Audi. He's already starting to make moves through the field. D-Dot starting to just lose out a little bit. We've got Phil G though bolting away at the start. Then we've got Rob Scott in second, Diablo in third, Cutler in fourth, Britzberger in fifth, and then Duco all the way down in sixth. That Mercedes did not get away from the line very well, and he's already battling for race positions early on in the lap. Sean then, one of the drivers that are out there on the medium tyre. That tyre will have quite a long warm-up period, so if he can just park the bus for a while, that's what he needs to do, because the cars behind it are on softs. Will need to push through and make their intentions known. We've got Gwyn here in the back. He's had some sort of incident. All the top cars really, other than Duco, all of them are on soft tyres. So Duco and the Mercedes are going to have his work cut out, and that's probably explains why I didn't get a great start. All of those cars are on soft tyres, so they will have some managing to do during this race. Duco won't necessarily have to worry about that, but he will have a little bit of a slower pace. So the mediums versus softs potentially worth around a second a lap. But in most drivers' hands, you can get the mediums to keep their sort of core temperatures. You can keep that deficient down to around 6 to 7 temps if you're good at your management. One person is good at his management is Cutler. He's out on soft tyres, currently battling for a podium position. He's just behind Diablo in third. Phil G really starting to make a breakaway then at the top. I'm not going to talk about Phil G too much, because it seems every time I come to him he has some sort of horrible life-ending accident. So I've sort of said to myself that I don't want to jinx the poor guy anymore, because I've done enough of that. Sean has lost a position, so slow Seamus though, and D-Dot's trying to make his way through in the Chevrolet, but he's finding his pathway is blocked. D-Dot then just making a move then down the inside of the Audi. D-Dot nice, he's trying to navigate his way past Sean as soon as possible really, because that McLaren just won't have built up its tyre temperatures yet, and you can really tell during the lateral grip phase of these corners. McLaren's just not feeling very confident putting its power down, and that's all to do with tyre temp. It will just feel a little bit wobbly at the back. So if he can hold the guys off behind, once he does start getting into his stride, it'll be okay. Phil G's lost a ton of time so far this lap. Oh, we've got Cutler spinning as well. He's managed to recover it. As we said during qualifying, junk out is a place where you will lose a lot of time if you make a mistake, and that mistake is coming to bite Cutler now, as he has got Nathan Myers in the Aston Martin just looking for a gap that he can exploit around the inside or the outside of that Mercedes. Cutler though, a bit of a defensive maestro, and does, for the time being, manage to defend away from Britzberger, but Britzberger's just trying to stick his big V12 Aston Martin in there, and this is a fight that could rumble on as we see them going too wide at the front as well. We've got Phil G and Rob Scott battling away, and Cutler just does manage to keep ahead of Britzberger eventually. Duco has dropped 3.6 seconds off the leader of the race then. Will his race come to him later on? This has got to be the question that he's asking himself now. Will this race come to him later on? Because when their tyres start to fade away, they will lose pace, or they may pit. So I don't know whether the Mercedes strategy team there are just depending a little bit on some cars pitting. Got an almighty battle here forming behind Sean. This Sean train, as I'm going to dub it now, consists of 5 or 6 cars, all battling for position. And then we've got Slow Seamus, we've got D-Dot. I can see Sonic Racer back there, and I believe that is Lucky Bucky right at the back of this line as well. Sean in the McLaren doing an absolutely sterling job of just being a mobile chicane at the minute. This is enabling Duco to pull away them. Duco now with a 4-second gap. We have them fighting away at the top as well. We've got Rob Scott and Diablo fighting away for P2. That's enabling Phil G just to break away a little bit at the top. As it stands though, as it stands, Rob Scott here could inherit some good championship points if D-Dot's strategy doesn't quite work out. 1 second. Sorry, the joy of children. This is D-Dot now defending away to Sean and the McLaren. Plenty of space given between the two. Very nice and very respectful indeed. Let's just jump back up to the top. We've got the top three again still fighting away. Rob Scott has managed to fight his way past Phil G. When did that happen? Oh, I think he was going to Hamilton him there, didn't he? Oh, now Phil G's got a little bit unsteady there on the exit of that corner. And that has enabled Rob Scott just to sneak through into the lead of the race. Further away through this one now, as we cross the line to start lap number 5. Phil G's having to also defend away to Diablo. Is just about going to manage to hold that one. Cutler then P4 for Cutler at the minute. Hasn't fallen away from these guys, but is keeping Britsberger behind. Cutler's a very difficult man to pass when he doesn't want you to get past him. He's very consistent on hitting his markers, and whenever he's doing that, you will find it hard to get past him if he doesn't necessarily want you to go past. But Britsberger has just found a way. Cutler's going to hang the Mercedes on him there though. So Jip through Pinarino. Will Cutler concede? No, he will not. He will fly that Mercedes straight back up the inside of the Aston Martin. That's good news for Duco, who's really doing a good job on the mediums. I'm seeing tyre wear on those though, so similar tyre wear to what the softs are seeing. He's seeing on the mediums, so I'm wondering if they're going for a little bit of a graining phase at the minute. This battle for 7th absolutely flying at the minute, as we've got D-Dot all the way down in 13th place. What's happened to D-Dot? Whatever happened to D-Dot, I'm afraid happened the lap before, and we haven't been able to see it, which I'm sure D-Dot will be quite happy at the fact I've not shown that one. As we look at Rob Scott in the Chevrolet, the other Chevrolet then bookending this championship, bookending this race at the minute, as Rob Scott sets a 30.6. Phil G, P2 for Phil at the minute, but he's just managing to keep Diablo behind. Diablo in the Mustang will suffer a little bit more with those tyres. Just the very nature of how that car is set up. Inherent characteristics of the car that you can't necessarily change. Does mean that you tend to get a lot more heat cycles through those front tyres, and that's what Diablo will be going through. Cutler's still defending away from Britsberger. We've got Duco hanging on in there is probably the right terminology I'd use. Very, very, very consistent laps from Duco. Low 32s every single lap. A little bit of lag coming from the Mercedes driver as well. Sonic Racer now starting to pull away from Lucky Bucky. Lucky Bucky has passed and dropped Sean. Sean now ahead of Slow Seamus in the Audi. We've got Roving Island in P11 with Gwyn in 12th. And D-Dot will be wanting just to catch these guys back up again. Yeah, he's in 13th at the moment. Yeah, lap 5 for him, a 44.8. So really dropping a lot of time that lap. D-Dot, don't know what happened, can't possibly comment, not really sure. So this is of course a sprint race, so we will take the results of this race we will award the top 3 some extra weight as punishment for doing well in this one. And we'll chuck them in a reverse grid format as well for extra measure, and we'll give them a bit less fuel. And we will, as Diablo then has to take to the escape road. That's just tyre wear kicking in for the Mustang. So going to go risking going 3 wide here as Cutler and Britsberger defend away. But let's just have a quick action replay. What happened to Diablo then? Just turn 1. The car just didn't want to turn, did it? Yeah, just didn't want to work. He's already done some damage to the front end of that car. If you can see the light covers missing on the left hand side. So some of these cars are fitted with reflective tinted light covers on the front of them. You'll see the yellow tint, and Diablo's smashed one of them off. So that car looking like it's constantly going around winking at people at the moment. Rob Scott though, just a man on a mission at the minute. 1.6 seconds clear at the top. Phil G, P2 for Phil. He actually probably won't be too mad at that. He's pulling a massive gap to P3, which is Britsberger now. After Diablo's little off, so Britsberger now in 3rd. He's a little bit ahead of Cutler. Cutler now in a closely fought battle with Diablo, who will want those positions back. That again is good news for Duco, who is just 7-8 tenths behind all this. The good news for Duco is the guys running soft tyres, most of them anyway. There is evidence to suggest that these soft tyres are just starting to go off now. They're starting to lose their integrity, so to speak. The tyre manufacturers told us that a set of softs good for about 10 laps. After that, you do risk really graining the tyre. Hence the management. Something Sean is doing I think Sean could have slapped a set of softs on that McLaren, because he's really treating the mediums with care at the moment. He's got an Audi behind him that's on trashed soft tyres, and Gwyn in the pits then. So he's coming just to get some fresh softs on there, no doubt. D-Dot really putting the moves on Roving Island now. So yeah, Gwyn going to a set of medium tyres. A very, very surprising turn of events. One of the closest battles on track then is the battle for 4th, which involves Cutler, Diablo and Duco. 3 cars fighting out for 4th. Yeah, what I'm thinking of is just how well Duco is doing to hold on to those guys on the medium tyres. It helps their fighting a lot. Like I said, we're starting to see evidence now that the soft tyre runners are starting to feel the pressure of those tyres now. Britsberger's time starting to dip into the high 31s. Rob Scott's mid 31s. Phil G high 31s. Cutler's even going into the 32s now. Diablo into the 32s. So this is where Duco's strategist might start to earn his money. Has he done a little bit of a masterstroke? Just the mediums though, not much more in terms of longevity, and you do feel these when they drop off a lot more. The drop off on the soft is at least a little bit more linear, whereas the medium drop off it is literally off a cliff. Sean might be finding out on the rears. Oh, a slow Seamus though has a massive accident in the Audi. Just on the exit of turn 4. Did he just put a rear wheel on the outside right? So he had a little bit of load going through the tyre at the time, but it was just the momentum of the car turning through the corner. So that's slow Seamus then. Looks like a little bit of damage to the front end of that car. So looks like splitter, and possibly the winglets on the front of the car potentially got a little bit of damage as well, so that will affect his downforce going in and through corners. So he's having no issues at the moment. Rob Scott, first lap in the 32s though for Rob. He's got another 5 or 6 laps to manage on this set of tyres. Phil G in a little bit of a better state tyre wear wise. I think he's just done a little bit of a better job managing at the start. Didn't have as much fighting to do in the early phase, of course. A bit of Spurger in the Aston, a car that does generally just sit on its wheels a little bit more anyway. A lot more weight to push through the corners in this car. But he's managed it beautifully so far. Has got past and pulled away from Cutler. Cutler's picked up a little bit of a penalty from somewhere, still defending away to Diablo. The Mustang trying to put moves on the Mercedes. Duco's starting to fall back away from this a little bit now. He's he's still feeling those tyres. It's a bit odd really. The Mercedes driven by Duco on the medium tyres getting worse tyre wear than Cutler's getting in the exact same car, but on a set of soft tyres, so that's pretty much down to it's the Mercedes. I think he just needs to get his mechanics fired, to be fair, because the setup that he's got on that car just seems to really work the tyres a lot, and in a race where looking after your rubber is critical to a good race. It's not working out for him. He's actually getting chased down now by the Jaguar, which is progressively going faster as well. So the Jaguar on race pace is actually a good couple of times faster than the Mercedes it's chasing down. So we could see the Jaguar Sonic Racer go for a move in the next couple of laps. Sean is all by himself. He's got about a 10-second gap either side of him. D-Dot's made his way up into 10th. As we've got a couple of cars now. Slow Seamus has been into the pits to get that damage fixed. The team have obviously decided that is something that needs to be rectified. He's already looking to try and make a move on Gwyn, and Seamus does get himself up to P12. So we see Cutler then. Is he getting rid of that penalty as he's defending away to Diablo? Yeah, it looks like he's got rid of that penalty. I mean, we do call Cutler the tyre whisperer, so I think that comparison I made between him and Duco a minute or two ago was probably a little bit uncalled for, I'll be honest, because not many people can manage tyres as well as Cutler can. Just got on board the Jaguar here with Sonic Racer. He's looking to make a move on Duco, but the opportunity hasn't arose for him yet. Needs a good run out of jump carriers on the power a lot earlier than Mercedes is. Has to get out of the throttle though. He's only trying to get the slipstream of the Mercedes down the main straight. We'll start to dip up and then down for turn 1. Mercedes keeps its place for the time being. He's only got a couple more laps to defend this position, but Interlagos is a track he can overtake on, so don't think for 1 minute that Sonic Racer is going to sit on his laurels here. He's going to use his tyre advantage down into turn 4. Can he be later on the brakes? He's alongside in his past. He gets it tidied up on exit as well. It was a nice move there by Sonic Racer. This is how it looked from his perspective. Well, anyone that would have been sat on his roof's perspective. I think he just gets later on the brakes, to be fair. Yep, a little bit later on the brakes, gets it nice and tidied up at the apex. And through he went into P6, so that's Duco down another position. Of course, will mean he'll have a higher up starting position for race 2. He will need to make that count, as we see D-Dot and Roving Island battling away. D-Dot's last lap of 39.1, so something happened last lap for D-Dot. Yeah, it's all about the tyres. Roving Island's one of the other drivers that went out on the medium compound tyre. As you can see by the graphic on your lower left hand side there, the medium tyre is just holding on for Roving Island in the NSX, just much better than the softs that are strapped to D-Dot's car. Everyone looks like they're good for fuel. We have probably had to see a little bit of management on fuel through the process of the race. I think everyone is relatively safe now. I'm just looking out for any potential battles on track. This sprint race has spread out a little bit. We haven't really got too much going on in the way of actual battles, we have got Gwyn, who's not a million miles away from getting lapped here because he's made that pit stop. That's how much pit stops cost you here, ladies and gentlemen. They cost you an absolute age. What's happened here between D-Dot and Roving Island? Oh yeah, D-Dot just had a little bit of a moment there. Al's picked up a little bit of damage. Just on the outskirts of the CNRS. That's what I mean, the tyres are just overheating now. The next race we have will be what's the time of day? Let's have a look. It's going to be, it's around 5 PM local time, so the track temperature there should be a little bit cooler at that point. Overcast conditions as well, so yeah, that will only aid to the track's coolness at the time. There's Phil G then, now getting caught by Britsberger. So the Aston Martin there, is he looking to make a move here on the Honda? Britsberger's got just 2 laps to hold on, so yeah, he'll defend this one against the Aston Martin, you can bet. The Aston Martin's going to try and hang it around the outsides. Phil G just about putting this car in the right position. What these two don't want to do is bring Cutler into this fight. But the problem is now these guys aren't going to be able to resist fighting as Britsberger does slide through. Which does amaze me because of how badly worn Britsberger's tyres are when you compare them to just how, well, the fronts especially. Phil G really only suffering with his rears at the moment. What did happen to the Honda? Oh no, he was just getting caught, wasn't he? So yeah, Cutler now within range of catching the Honda. Phil here could lose his podium position. There is a risk of this happening then, as Cutler's going to try and slipstream him down towards the CNRS's for the very last time of asking in this race. He's going to have just 1 lap to do it. He pulls out of the slipstream. He's not close enough at this position to do it. Oh, Phil G, the bit of an untidy corner exit there, gets it just about tidied up on the exit though. Cutler is going to battle him away for that. We'll just keep an eye on this as we go through turn 4. Cutler pulls out. Phil G though just about manages to defend that one. Just a bit scruffy on the exit of turn 4 though, and as we come towards turn 5, can he hold on? Yeah, he's got the inside line. Can Cutler get the cut back? No, Phil G's parked his car on the apex. It's literally like Gandalf at the minute. Phil G, you shall not pass. Making that Honda as wide as he possibly can. Just a couple of corners to go to hold on from the Cutler assault. Cutler though looks to have just got a kick of oversteer on the exit of that corner, and that might have just temporarily put him out of the fight. Straight back in it though. He's going to try and go round the outside. Phil G's going to have the inside for junk out, or he's going to try and slipstream him to the line. Let's go and keep an eye on Rob Scott though. Wins the race with a 10-second gap at the end of it, an absolutely dominant performance by the Chevrolet driver, and will do him no end of good in his title fight. This race will have really put him in contention. I think it's going to pretty much bring them level on points. Britsberger then is going to grab second. Cutler in the end grabs third. Sonic Race 4th. What's happened to Phil G? Diablo 5th. Duco 6th. Phil G in 7th. What happened to Phil? Oh no, he got it wrong. He got it wrong coming through junk out. When will Phil G's luck change? Sean in 8th. Lucky Bucky in 9th in the end. So Mercedes driver picking up a couple of positions. Roving Island in 10th. He's enjoyed some good battles with D-Dot along the way. D to the dot, the man himself. Been nursing a little bit of damage for the last couple of laps, but P11 for him. Slow Seamus in P12 and Gwyn in P13. Slow Seamus though pitted for softs and got the fastest lap, a 30.6. So he grabs the fastest lap of the race on lap 13 of this one. So Slow Seamus, fastest lap of the race in the Mature Racing Club Team Oliver Racing GT3 League. Race 1 of round 8. Save the race results. So I think I'm going to have a little bit of a break now, just between races, so I'm going to go and find a drink. Yeah, so the way this is now going to work, what tyres? Mate, they were shredded, weren't they? Yeah. Even the guys on mediums, dude, didn't really fare too well, because you're still trying to push the tyre, aren't you? Right, so Rob Scott, Britzberger and Cutler, they now get ballast added to their cars for the next race. Now the problem with that, the problem with that's going to be extra weight is not good news for tyres. When you're already in a race where tyre management is the talking point, so to speak, having an extra couple of 100 kilos of fuel, having a lot of extra weight added to your car in terms of success ballast will affect a lot of different things. One of them is going to be tyre wear. I'll tell you what, I'm looking out my window just right now, and some of the cloud formations we've got, absolutely nuts. And the weather today has been absolutely bipolar, hasn't it? It's just been all over the shop. I don't know what it's been like where you are, wherever you come from in the world. I am pretty much bang in the middle of the country. And yet here today it's been, well, we had blue skies, we had heat, we had hail and rain, wind, awful wind. Anyway, don't get excited, it's not a beer. It's a Tango, it's the only thing I've got in. Late. Okay, so race number 2 then. This is where things get a little bit more interesting. So we've got the settings now for race 2, which is all sorts of changes to this one. So we've got a reverse grid based on the previous race results. What that means is the results that we've got from race 1, we flip them upside down. So if you finish first, you start last. If you finish last, you start first, sort of thing. So we're going to see Gwyn and Slow Seamus on the front row of the grid for this one. D.Dot Roving Allen, second row of the grid, Lucky Bucky and Sean on the third row of the grid, Phil G and Duco on the fourth row of the grid. You get the picture. The top 3 finishers from last time get success ballast on top of starting at the back. We only allow the teams to put 70 kilos of fuel in each car. So again, that aside from forcing a one-stop strategy, aside from forcing a pit stop, it gives the drivers something to think about in terms of tyre choice as well. Now, going on to tyre choice, the teams must use 2 compounds of tyre during the race, so it's I would fully expect it to be the soft and the mediums that get used. But it's how you manage those tyres. Again, we've seen people have managed to take softs 15 laps. That first race may have given some drivers confidence to maybe do like a 7 or 8 lap medium stint. But I would probably expect a lot of drivers to start on the mediums and eke that fuel tank out as far as they can possibly go, and then pit for the softs. But we'll see. We will see what we'll see what they opt to do. Yeah, I should have a little bit cooler track temps as well this time. We'll see how that affects things. Probably makes it a little bit slidier. I'm not sure. I've not actually tested this. See D-Dot there, parked out on the beach. How you doing? Just enjoying the view. Yeah, so a lot of drivers are going to start on the medium. Some starting on the soft. Yeah, quite a surprising amount starting on the soft. Which I've got to be honest, I wasn't quite expecting to see. Oh, I've turned my keyboard off. That's no good. There we go. Yeah, so we'll see what the guys choose to do, I guess. The pit window then, so if they want to change their tyres, they're not allowed to pit for tyres before the end of lap 5. I wouldn't expect anyone to do that anyway, even if he didn't have that rule in place. Rob Scott's just given himself engine damage. Unfortunately it's sim racing, it's not a 10-hour repair job, he can just go in and get a new one. Yeah, what was I going to say? The pit lane here is one of the longest. I've not actually timed a pit stop in these cars, but it's quite long. I think it's about a minute that they lose, and when you're only doing, inverted commas, only doing 22 laps, you don't want to pit more than once. It doesn't sound a lot, but during the course of the next 22 laps, the drivers will cover nearly 60 miles. Now, if you imagine your road tyres, how many miles have you had them on for? Yeah, and you just imagine that the tyres on these cars are only lasting 60 miles before they are, well, not even that. The first race, what is it, 15 laps, 40 miles. 40 miles, ladies and gents, so that's from, what's 40 miles? Well, it's not far, is it? Alright, granted those tyres are constantly under high loads and pressures. They're constantly getting leaned on by the drivers, and these cars are driven to the max, so to speak. But I'm pretty sure if you bought a set of tyres for your road car and they only come to 40 miles, you'd be pretty pissed off, so... Just imagine how these guys feel. It puts into perspective as well the tyre management these guys have to do as well. Yeah, I was telling you about corner names, weren't I? Yeah, I was. So, translating them into English, turn 4 decided a while ago. When you translate that into English, it means Lake Descent, which is quite nice. Curva du Sol, Curve of the Sun. Ferraggiura is Horseshoe, which makes sense, turn 6. Rico di Pato, turn 10. This is a tight hairpin, the one that Hamilton smashed Albon off. It's called, what's it called? It's called Duck's Bill. So James, you might like that one. Turn 10 at Interlagos is named after Georgie. Juncão is junction in Portuguese. And Subida dos Boxes, which is turn 14. This is this little kink here. That literally means up to the pits. And then that one there is bleachers. Turn that off. So there's your Portuguese lesson then, from myself. Just waiting on. Yeah, there's Duco. Is he even showing? Yeah, there he is. There's someone not entered. Who is it? It's Cutler. Enter yourself, Cutler. to yourself. There we go. So we're ready to go racing, boys and girls. 22 laps of Interlagos in the GT3 category. Strategically, this is going to be one of the more difficult races for drivers to navigate their way through. Regulatory wise, it's not the most difficult, but to get the best race time out of it means they've got to manage. So they've got to manage tyres and fuel pretty much the entirety of this race. If they fail to do that, if they get in too many fights, if they don't look after the tyres or fuel, that will seriously hamper their efforts to get a good result. So working together is going to be the order of the day if you want a good result here. And it's lights out and away we go. The Jaguar of Gwyn seemed to get a really slow getaway there. D-Dot responded much better to it, but the Honda NSX of Phil G got an absolutely storming start. So did Roving Island, but a bit slow into turn 1. We've got Lucky Bucky there sideways into turn 1. We've also got the Jaguar Sonic Racer getting it a little bit squiffy coming out of turn 1 as well. Britsberger making his way through. Diablo trying to make his way through as well. Rob Scott still struggling at the back. He has got a literal ton of weight added to his car, I'm afraid. As we see D-Dot go for a move into turn 4, but just goes a little bit too deep. We've got Sean and Britsberger fighting away. Sean doesn't put too much of a fight up there against the Aston Martin. Sort of almost lets him through, which is again probably what you want to be seeing at this stage. You want your track position, but you don't want to absolutely kill the other drivers to get it, because you'll just sacrifice both your races. What else have we got going on? Britsberger now trying to make a move on Roving Island, gets that Aston Martin piloted around the outside beautifully. Britsberger is carving through the field like a hot knife through butter at the moment. Two cars in like a couple of corners. Cutler's trying to get his way through as well. D-Dot Knife again starting on the mediums. Predictably, quite a lot of cars are starting on the medium tyre. And the cars at the top, so the top 3, which is Gwyn, Slow Seamus and Phil G, all starting on the soft. Duco starting on the medium. Britsberger on the soft. Might explain his progress through the field at the moment. Duco in theory should be a relatively easy move for the Aston Martin. Duco won't want a big fight at this stage of the race. It's just not in his game plan to do that. He doesn't need to fight at this stage too much. It is a racer's attitude to fight, of course, though, so you can probably bet he might well defend this one using the slipstream of Phil G, which means Britsberger and the Aston Martin can't quite get close enough just yet. So 70 kilos of fuel should be good for about 10 laps with a little bit of management. We might see some drivers stretch it out even further. So it makes a one-stop very realistically possible. And Rob Scott is really struggling with that extra weight. You can see it's the body language of the car just looks slow and laborious now. Slow Seamus battling away with Gwyn, who's lost a couple of positions. Gwyn had a penalty, did go for a move, yeah, he just gave Slow Seamus a little bit of a tap and immediately backed out of it, so yeah, you can't really say fairer than that. Phil G though fighting through the pack at the minute. He's on the soft tyre, he needs to make this tyre work. This could work out for Phil G if he gets this soft tyre working while he's in free air. If he can make this move past Slow Seamus, then the race could be his at the minute. He has got Britsberger fighting through as well though. You see the McLaren of Sean go for a move on Roving Island. We've seen a car go very deep there. That was Diablo's car. Then another car into the wall. That's D-Dot's car. D-Dot's really not having very good luck in this championship at the minute. He's really struggling to get the results. So he's comfortably on the brakes. Absolutely no issue there. Really tidy entrance to turn 1. Just picks up the throttle. And the car just spits him out as well. So that's just the Chevrolet. I think he would have had a better season had he have had a car that I just think suits his driving style a little bit better. Maybe if you're taking a Mercedes or something maybe a little bit more understeery that he can work with. Mercedes does have a nice and stable rear end, but just struggles to get the front end pointed in all the time. I ain't sure. Still nice and close then. There is a nice big battle kicking off with Sonic Racer, Lucky Bucky and Diablo. Rob Scott up to P11 Gwyn. Had a horror show somewhere. He's he's got engine damage. He's had some sort of massive incident, so he's going to have to limp that car back to the pits, and the Jaguar team are going to have to get working on fixing that V8 motor very quickly. Slow Seamus though leading the way. He's put a 1:30.4 in. He is on the pace today. He's 2 seconds ahead at the top. The Audi is absolutely singing here at Autodromo Carlos Pache. 30.4, which again I want to say is very close to what he did last time, I think, isn't it? And the cars behind him going a whole second a lap slower. Seamus is not really bothering with his fuel saving though, I can imagine. Lucky Bucky and the Mercedes go for a move on the other Mercedes there with Cutler, but doesn't manage to get that one made. And Diablo, one of the cars carrying ballast, isn't he? So yeah, that's one of the reasons why he'll be struggling. Rob Scott, because of a couple of issues elsewhere, down in P11 at the minute. Slow Seamus lost a little bit of ground to Phil G that lap. Yeah, it's like Seamus is working his tyres a lot more. Yeah, he's not really managing at the minute, so his pace early on is going to be blistering. 31.1 that time round, yeah, 31.4 for Phil. His pace at the start is going to be absolutely on fire, but I fear he's probably putting his tyres through a little bit too much stress. Gwyn's out of the pits. He's got that car fixed up. Oh, is he going to damage it straight away again though? Oh, he's giving himself straight away some engine damage. So cold tyres. These tyres do sit in heat blankets. But by the time you've driven to the end of the pit lane, especially here at Interlagos, they're cold again. And you can see the effects of that there as he desperately piles on the brakes to stop himself from colliding into the barrier, and that's he's probably just going to have to work with that damage. Slow Seamus is potentially going to come up and lap him very soon. Elsewhere on track then, we've got a lot of medium shod cars here in the middle, just trying to execute their own strategies. The problem with these guys are all really close together. Like, you've got Rob, Diablo, Sonic Racer, Lucky Bucky, Cutler and Roving Island all within a couple of seconds of each other. We'll just take the rear view here from Roving Island's car. The problem is they're going to be interrupting with each other's races quite a lot. I see Sonic Racer and Lucky Bucky going at it. Does do any of these two cars? Oh, there's a little bit of contact there. I think Diablo just turned in on the Jaguar. Got a car in the pits again. That's Gwyn again going to get his car fixed, and that means unfortunately for Gwyn he's going to end up being lapped by the entire field. Right, let's let me just go back and have a look at this Diablo incident that happened a moment ago as it's kicking off again between Diablo and Sonic Racer. So there is a Jaguar on the insides. Entitled. Yeah, I'm not going to be judged during execution. I won't be surprised if that is somewhat deemed as a racing incident. Diablo has ended up way worse off than anyone else as well anyway. all cars in that line were seemingly entitled to be there, so however you want to judge that, kind of up to you, I guess. We've got D-Dot's carrying a little bit of damage, and Gwyn unfortunately is a lap down on everyone else, but if he just keeps going at it, you never know. Could pick up some positions later on in the race. Slow Seamus now, after having cooked his tyres early on. You can tell the difference between a car that's managing its tyres and a car that isn't managing its tyres. Similar fuel levels between the two cars. But Phil G now just starting to turn the screw a little bit. Britsberger, again, another car that's potentially just putting its tyres through a little bit too much pain early doors. On the softs, he'll want at least 10 laps out of these, and that'll probably be his target. I would imagine lap 10 we will start to see some pit stops. We may of course see some before, but you won't really want to take a set of mediums much longer than you've already taken them, just because you lose the time on them. We'll see, of course, we'll see. It's a Sonic Racer then. Is he starting to just turn the screw on Cutler a little bit? Cutler's on the mediums as well. Sonic Racer though, just he loves it. He loves a race too, just Sonic Racer. He always seems to go really well in race 2 in these sprint feature formats. Lucky Bucky's undoubtedly been the loser in all that, really. He's down in P11 now. We got going on, so now it's just a waiting game. So who pulls the trigger first? That's the question. Now the undercut here is going to be pretty powerful because of how much time you're going to gain on a set of soft compared to on a fresh set of tyres compared to an old set of tyres. So the undercut will be being used to good effect by some drivers then. I would imagine your Roving Islands, your Rob Scotts, your Diablos may be employing these tactics to just try and leapfrog the queues they're in. Duco on the medium tyres, being chased down now by the McLaren of Sean with the soft tyres. Again, Duco's got his fast tyre to come, so if and when the McLaren gets on his rear bumper, does he really want to put up too much of a fight against that car? I don't think he does. I think he might as well just park himself behind the 650S and get some fuel saving done. Yeah, we're not seeing any pit stops yet. Not for the top 3. Yeah, I'd think it would be too early right now for a lot of cars to pit. Everyone will have that one stop as a plan A in the back of their mind. I think most teams will struggle to see the benefits of a 2-stop strategy. Just purely given pit stop length. It just doesn't make it feasible. We have got D-Dot in though. He's going to get rid of those mediums nice and early. The problem for D-Dot is going to give him how long? Not too bad actually, so yeah, he's going to have quite a few laps to do on the soft tyre, but he should have a little bit of an idea as to management and stuff like that now. So Slow Seamus, who has led this race, currently holds the fastest lap of the race. Is now getting the screw turned thoroughly by Phil G, the Honda driver. Both drivers have enough to go for another one if they wish, and I would fully expect them to do just that. Does Phil pit? Nope, he's going to go for the overtake instead for the lead of the race. Phil G's going to try and get this done down the inside towards the centre S's, and yet he's ahead and clear of the Audi going into lap number 10. Britzberger not a million miles away, but just struggling with the tyres now. Duco still ahead of Sean, just about. Duco again just seems to be struggling with his overall pace. As we've got Cutler there and Diablo scrapping away. Didn't mean to cut away from that then. Just looking here, we had in the pits Sonic Racer and Rob Scott both in the pits. Sonic Racer's got damage. Big damage for Sonic Racer. Again, I'm not sure where that got picked up, but Sonic Racer's got big damage. So again, the Jaguars here, the Jaguar, I've heard there was some spare engines. The team are going to have to go salvaging parts from the spare cars anytime soon. And there's Diablo and Cutler still go to war then. It's Mercedes versus Ford. Both on similar tyre strategies. It's probably this lap where I'll expect to see most teams coming into the pits now. And I am seeing some guys in the pit lane ahead of me though. I can't quite make out who it is. Is it going to be Phil G's or Slow Seamus' pit crew? I think it probably is. They've already done 15 lap races. Phil G stays out. Slow Seamus comes into the pits. So the Audi then going to do that extra lap on mediums. Britzberger also pits. Duco, he stays out for another lap. So does Sean. Done a good enough job. Cutler might stay out on these mediums, or he might try and get on the softs a lap earlier and just make sure he gets the advantage over Diablo. He stays out. Diablo does the opposite of what Cutler does. That's smart play by Diablo. He's plainly going for that undercut strategy. He's basically will have been told do whatever Cutler doesn't. So if Cutler pits, you stay out. If Cutler stays out, you pit. Just go for that undercut strategy. Rob Scott, first of the pit stop cars, out on track. Now we'll see what he can do on the soft tyres. Bear in mind though with Rob Scott, he is carrying some ballast. Sonic Racers team have got that car fixed. Although effectively that's going to put him quite a way down the order once everything's worked itself out. Phil G still needs to pit. He's going to be on fumes when he comes in as well. Duco Sean also needs to pit, so does Cutler and Lucky Bucky and Roving Island. The first car that has made a pit stop is going to be Slow Seamus, 41 seconds behind the leader, which is Phil G at the minute. So now we do have a bunch of teams in the pit lane ready to receive their cars. Tyres at the ready, fuel at the ready. Fuel these drivers up for another 11 or 12 laps. Sean actually stays for another lap. He's going to go for another lap on the soft tyres. He's balls to the wall strategy then for the McLaren team. We're just going for that uber aggressive strategy, but he's done a great job of looking after his tyres in that first stint. So this outlap, it's hammer time then for Sean. Really needs to put his foot down and just get the job done on this in lap. He is switching to the medium tyre, so yeah, we'll see how this works for Sean. These guys that are out now have got to get this tyre to work. So how's this going to work out? And Phil G comes out of the pits. He was our race leader. He's out 2.2 seconds ahead of Seamus. Here is 7.5 ahead of Britzberger. Britzberger put a bit more fuel in than the Audi. Now, Cutler, when he pits, he's going to be taking the soft tyre on, so he'll have quite a fast last stint. Sean is going to come in and take the mediums, but he's done the longest stint of anybody on the soft tyre so far in this race. So the McLaren and Mercedes pit crews are out. We're going to get their boys serviced. That will hand the lead of the race back to Phil G. Phil on the medium tyres then. It doesn't have any immediate threats necessarily. I would say the most immediate threat now is going to be Duco. So the championship leader in the Mercedes on a set of soft tyres could be a threat in the closing stages of the races, because that soft tyre will be warming up a lot faster. He will have a lot more initial pace, and he's already making moves here on the Aston Martin of Britsberger. He underfueled there, did Duco. There's a little bit of door-to-door contact between the two. For whatever reason, these two guys just seem to have a little bit of door banging going on. But anyway, enough of that. That's right, so it's Duco to third then, 8 seconds behind Slow Seamus. Now Slow Seamus on the mediums going to be a lot slower than he was. He does still hold the fastest lap of the race. Whether he continues to keep that, we'll find out in the next couple of laps, because someone's going to set a hot time on the soft. It's going to be in the next few laps. Sean just getting rid of a little bit of a penalty there. He's ahead of Diablo. Just looking at the time, see, the thing is, like, I don't think anyone that's on the soft tyre is really going to want to cook that tyre too much and go for a fastest lap. It isn't really worth taking the heat out of your tyres, to be fair. D4, you remember, pitted quite early on. He could be our only car that's on a 2-stop strategy, unless he's really going to eke those mediums out. And as we saw earlier, Sonic Racer, he's racing here with the other Jag of Gwyn, although he's only racing him now to put a lap back on him. Right, ladies and gents, we've absconded into a little bit of a mid-race lull. So we'll use this opportunity to just take a little bit of a drink. You don't get that from Quaff, did you? Anyway, Phil G and Seamus could be having a little bit of a tear up here for the lead. There's a second between them, similar lap times, arguably Phil a tenth quicker the last lap. Could get dicey, potentially. Duco has been knocking time out of Slow Seamus, so that time around 31.6 for Duco, but Seamus now will just start getting a little bit slower on his medium tyre. Once Duco's got these softs working, which it looks like he's certainly firing them up, and then he can start to attack. So he's got 8 laps to take Slow Seamus down, so he needs to be going a second a lap faster, there or thereabouts, to get himself another step up the podium. That lap for Duco, 31.0. That lap for Seamus, 31.9. So he's on track then. You know, the championship leader is showing to be on track to be catching the Audi roughly by around lap 20. So we'll see how that one progresses. Should in theory start to pull away from Britsberger a little bit, purely because of a tyre advantage. So Britsberger in the Aston Martin, he should be comfortably ahead of the McLaren as well at the minute, which he is. And the McLaren's currently having to watch out in his rearview mirror for a rampaging Ford Mustang driven by the man from down under, Diablo. He's on the soft tyre in that car, so he will be looking to make moves on the McLaren. Rob Scott, who's got the success ballast, don't forget, he started right at the back of the grid. Just kind of kept his nose clean so far, not lighting the timing sheets up by any means, but you wouldn't expect that with all the extra weight. Just doing the job he needs to do, to be really honest. That's what you can really expect of him. So D4 then has pitted again, so a 2-stop strategy for D4. He's now on the softs. We'll see what he can do. He might go for the fastest lap. D4, what you got to do? Right. So Phil G and Slow Seamus again, very close. 6 tenths in it. Duco He's catching slow Seamus, slowly but surely. Diablo then made a move on Sean. Let's see how that one got made. So it's going to be down into the San Andreas. Good trail braking there by the Mustang. Just got the move made into turn 1. Sean didn't put up too much of a fight on that one. I knew the tyre advantage of the Mustang would pay off eventually. It's quite a way to go in the race, boys. I'll be talking, hopefully the teams are on the radio to Phil and Seamus. I'm assuming the Audi team are saying get past him and get on with it. Phil G's team, knowing that Duco, if they're not careful, the Mercedes, which is currently 6 seconds behind this fight, Mercedes could be a threat in the closing stages of the race. The Mercedes at the minute though isn't going fast enough. It needs to just eke out a little bit more pace. It's currently in the low 31s. These two are these two now into the 32s. So the medium tyres really just starting to not necessarily struggle, but just get the heat cycles through those tyres. They're not really gripping up as well. Duco that time at 31.5. So about 9 tenths quicker than Phil G and slow Seamus were going. Sean back ahead of Diablo, so Diablo has made an error somewhere. That's 34.8 that time around for Diablo. Yeah, it must have been towards the end of that lap that I missed it, but Sean back ahead of Diablo. So the Australian's got some work to do. Slow Seamus is still holding that fastest lap. And I'm going to argue that if it's not been beaten yet, it's not going to be. Because the guys that are on the soft tyres at the minute have taken the best of those tyres out already. They're gone. So I would arguably say that slow Seamus might well be grabbing a fastest lap point again. Duco just a bit of a poor exit there. That's going to... He's still reducing time to slow Seamus. The gap is now 5 seconds. That's just the tyre management that Duco is doing at the moment. Cars ahead into the mid 32s then for these guys. Duco dipping into the 32s himself, so he's got to be a little bit faster if he wants to catch up to the top 2. Whether he'd be quite content with a P3, I'm not too sure. So Diablo then starting to catch Sean back up again, so can the Mustang put the moves on him again? Rob Scott though is starting now to just pose a threat to these guys on the soft compound tyre. Cutler also potentially a threat on the soft compound tyre. We know how Cutler does tend to come alive at the end of a race. That's because he looks after tyres well, other people can't. Nice little battle here forming between Sonic Racer and Roving Island. Sonic Racer had that damage early on. We know the Jaguar has got the pace here. It just suffers with instability. Roving Island has got his work cut out if he wants to defend away to the Jag. Jag's definitely going to try and get moves made on him. Roving Island with a tyre disadvantage as well on the medium tyres might well struggle. He's got to force him the long way around. Let's check in on D-Dot, just on his fastest lap of the race at 31.9. So again on the car's working well on the soft tyre. It actually just doesn't like the medium for some reason. That car seems to hate it. So Phil has pulled a gap now to slow Seamus. Duco's gap to slow Seamus is now 3.7 seconds. And so your championship leading Mercedes should be within striking distance of the Audi then. I predicted lap 20. Unfortunately, some of Duco's lap times haven't quite been where I expected them to be when compared to slow Seamus, who probably benefited from a little bit of Phil G slipstream along the way. And probably come more towards the closing stages of the race if it's going to happen. So another thing that might happen towards the closing stages of the race is Diablo having another attack for P5 then on Sean. That race coming to nothing just so far. Come on Phil, bring it home mate. I'm just absolutely egging you on to win this one. Rob Scott then really has caught up with Cutler, although his tyres are in a lot worse nick. So yeah, the problem Rob Scott's going to have is just tyre wear really. .6 seconds now the gap between Slow Seamus and Duco. Now Slow Seamus has lost the toe from the car in first. He's going to be ever more susceptible to an attack from the Mercedes. The Mercedes now will have a really good view of the Audi. He's lost a little bit of time there coming through turn 4. Just dips a wheel on the outside. Doesn't pick, he's fortunate to be fair not to pick up a penalty for doing that, because I've seen them give them for less infringement. But he's just got a couple of laps left to get this bread. Has Duco in P3 at the minute, fighting away for P2. Or chasing him down is probably the more accurate phrase. Diablo though has struggled to reel Sean back in again. Probably took a little bit of life out of those tyres that he didn't mean to. Sean's medium's relatively fresh and in good nick. Rob Scott just falling back away from Cutler now. Sonic Racer after getting past Roving Island. Oh, I'm sorry, I lent on my controller. Yeah, Roving Island unfortunately just dropped away a little bit from that battle with Sonic Racer. Alright, so lap 21 of 22. It is the penultimate lap, 2 more to go. Looks like Phil G might just have sewn this one up. Pending any disasters then for the Honda driver. Slow Seamus, to be fair, hasn't got much more work to do in order to just defend away from Duco. He was starting to feel the tyres go from underneath him in that Mercedes. Britzberger, this would be an absolutely solid result for Britzberger as well. Another very good result. Another good strong finish to a race. What else have we got cooking for the last couple of laps? It is mainly for me, I guess, the Seamus Duco fight that is the interesting bit towards the tail end of this one. Can Sean and Diablo resolve their differences? Again, Diablo's car's just struggling to get the power down. That's the difference between the tyres on this. He's got a fair bit of work to do if he's going to get past a nipping McLaren, even if it is on a slower tyre. So Phil G starts the last lap of the race then. 4.2 second lead at the top. Slow Seamus 2.4 second lead over Duco, and it's not looking like the Mercedes is going to be able to get that second place that we thought it might. One lap to determine all this, of course. Plenty can happen in the next lap, and we've seen it all happen before. Driver of the day for me so far, it's got to be Slow Seamus. I know I've got a bad memory, but I'm pretty sure he grabbed fastest lap in race 1 as well. Has put up with the pressure of leading race 2, has been sensible in his choice to not battle with Phil too much and instead maintain his position. And in doing so, I think that was a big part of how he's kept his P2 despite being on fading medium tyres versus a Mercedes on softs behind him. So good drive from Slow Seamus so far. Of course, a couple of corners left to go, so hopefully he doesn't bin it. But Phil G with a fantastic win in the Honda NSX, an absolutely superb performance from Phil that we come to obviously expect. Slow Seamus finishes P2, Duco grabs a podium in P3. Will recover a few lost points from race 1, of course, in his battle against Rob Scott for the title. Britzberger picks up yet more points in his push forward. Sean in 5th, a good result from the McLaren driver. Diablo in 6th, Cutler 7th. Rob Scott in P8 with all that extra weight as well. Lucky Bucky in P9 in the Mercedes. Good old flasher lights there. Sonic Racer in 10th. Roving Island's going to come across the line in P11. I think he's I don't know what I'll be thinking about that one. And then we've got D-Dot, who I know he's becoming increasingly frustrated with performances of late. I would encourage him to be back next season. I know he'll finish this one out, and I know he'll go away and think about what he really wants to do, but it's good having him in this one. He's got his heart in it. He's just not had a car behind him. P12 for D-Dot and 13th for Gwyn. So that is your results then for race 2 in round 8. It had its moments where not a lot happened, I'll be honest, in that one. It wasn't a classic, but we were able to get some good results out of it anyway, which is what we like. So always happy when Slow Seamus gets a good result, because I know he never expects it. And I'm pretty sure Seamus was saying something in the group chat about never being able to get a podium. Is that your first? No, it's not. It can't be. I'm sure you've had another win. Well, that's just no worries, Gwen. Sorry, sorry you had a bit of a shocker, mate. To be fair, just want your night tonight, was it, Gwen? No, well done, Phil. Dominated that one, dude. Good strategy, manage your tyres well, good pace management. Yeah, bang on, man. But yeah, if it's your first win, I'm sure you've had a win before. Maybe this season. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm sure you got a win in the Evo last season. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you, of course, have watched this one, don't forget, of course, this league is run by Mature Racing Club, but sponsored and supported by Team Oliver Racing. We are also, I guess, doing this is alright. We're representing Archie's Journey and We Are Driven. You will have noticed the logos on some of the cars as they've been driving around tonight. We Are Driven's a Facebook page. If you're watching this on YouTube, there is a link in the description that you can go and click and check it out. There's also a there's also a link to Mature Racing Club on Facebook. There's a link to Team Oliver Racing on Facebook, and I will also drop a link to Dark Smoker's stream of this very race as well. He's streaming the Pro Lobby, the exact same race conditions as you will have seen tonight, just different drivers, and no doubt a whole different bunch of action as well for you to check out. I'm going to go and get this banged up on YouTube. I'm then going to go to bed because I'm up for work at like 5 AM, so I need to get some sleep. But really appreciate you stopping by. And yeah, I'll see you next week for round 9. I can't remember where we are off the top of my head. I really should go and look. as Duco and Britzberger have some banter in the chat. Yeah, I really should go and look where we are. No worries, Phil. No worries, man. There was bits of boredom in the race tonight. Oh, where are we? This will tell me. What track's loading in? Brands Hatch. 50 minutes at Brands. Oh. Oh. It's going to be interesting. Can't really overtake that well at Brands, can you? Anyway. Good luck if you start on softs here. Anyway, that's it then. I'll see you next week for some Brands Hatch action. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, see you next time round. Bye bye.